Hello, everybody. So here I am again with another chapter of the book that we are studying together, Astral City slash Nosso Lar in Portuguese. So on the last chapter, we talk about André Luiz and who was him and where he were, and also what's happening in his life, or maybe after his life. Second chapter start with three words that is very impact: suicide, suicide, suicide. So remember, he's in an unknown place. He doesn't know what is exactly happened, but now the chapter bring us more information, voices that he start to listen constantly, and also how he's feeling, how he's dealing with that. Who could help me? I was tortured by hunger and parched with thirsty. My beard had grown and my clothes were beginning to tear due to the effort at surviving in that unknown region. However, the most painful circumstance wasn't the terrible abandonment in which I found myself, but the incessant attacks of perverse forces that vested me on the solitary and dark path. Here he can give us a little bit of explanation of what he's feeling. He felt abandoned, he felt lonely, but the voices and the attack that was towards him, he couldn't understand what's happening. The question continued: who are those beings? Why am being attacked? Sometimes when he couldn't take any more of anger, because it's not because he's dead, he doesn't feel the feeling. Anger is still there. When he couldn't take anymore, he tried to attack those beings, but he couldn't get at them. It was kind of beat the air. Those forces anger me and kept me from coordinating my ideas. I desire to reflect maturely on the situation, to frame its cause, and establish a new train of thought. He was trying. You can see that when he talks to you, when he described, he was trying to understand what he wish is to be alone, but seems that it's not possible because he's not in a place alone. This place that he is, there is a much more beings there like him, in better situation, in worse situation. So there is a logical brain of himself that was like, okay, let me try to understand what's helping him. But the beings didn't allow him, and he got him very, very, very angry. He still couldn't understand what's going on, right? And sometimes he tried to walk. He tried to go somewhere, places that he can be alone. And then look at this part. What are you looking for, your rapture? Where do you think you're going, your suicide? Such a ceaseless, repeat accusation rent my soul. I was a wretch, but a suicide? Never. Such a charge wasn't logical, I thought. He continued with that interrogation. How come they are calling me suicide? He still remember when he was in a hospital. He still remember the surgery, his wife, what the doctor was trying to save him. How come they are calling him a suicide? He was forced to live his life. It doesn't make any sense. He was really trying to rationalize and understand what is happening. Where was he and why now that is on top of that those beings were calling him a suicide? And doesn't make any sense. Why was I being accused of suicide when I had been coerced into giving my home, my family, and my loved ones sweet company? To whom could I run? No matter how great the intellectual education I have brought from the world, it could do nothing now to alter the reality of my life. This is an important part here to mention. As you guys know, he was a very educated person. He was a doctor. So think about it. Sometimes when I read this book, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and try to understand in his mind what he was talking. It does make sense, right? It does make sense because if you are living in this life, right now in this realm, third dimension that we are. He's a very high educated person. Doesn't make any sense. He was forced to leave. Like, why people are calling him a suicide? And probably this goal is inside of your heart, and you get more questions, and then it's a loop of thought. You keep thinking the same thought, keep thinking the same thought. There is a point that he doesn't have any more energy whatsoever. And then he starts to question himself. Am I going crazy? But the funny part was that he mentioned he was actually very aware, and he knows that he's still himself. His physical needs is still the same, so he was very hungry. He also was getting very, very tired. He ate some leaves. Very often he put mud in his mouth. He was very thirsty. He remembers that he hates religion, but he could get a little of a mystical help. He could use a mystical help that moment. He was out, guys. He needs a renew. He needs a change. This part it's very touch and essential part of the book for me, because it's when he realized that he needs help and he needs someone, something that above him. He couldn't live the life the way he was living, and he begged for help. I remember reading, every time I read this part, it's a pray. It's more than a pray. It comes from his heart. I can easily transport myself and imagine that could be, in this situation, could be any one of us, our beloved one, our kids, our parents, our siblings, anybody. So it's like a pray. A pray for whatever you guys believe, God, universe, energy, whatever you believe that is above you. Let's read this part together. It was during that bitter crisis that I implored the supreme author of the nature to reach out to me with his paternal hands. How long did my plea last? How many hours did I spend praying with hands folded like a fleeted child? I only knew that a rain of tears washed down my face, and that all my feelings focused on pain, rough prayer. Had I been totally forgotten? Hadn't I, too, a child of God, even though I have never thought of knowing his sublime activities while engulfed in the vanities of human experience? Why wouldn't the Eternal Father forgive me when he promised nest to a helpless bird and lovingly watch over the delicate flowers in the wide field? It's necessary to have known remorse, humiliation, and extremely misfortune to offensively drink the sublime elixir of hope. It was that moment that the dense mist cleared away and someone came forward, an envoy from heaven. A kindly old man smiled paternally at me. Then he bent down and gazed intently into my face with his big lucid eyes and said, "Courage, my son. The Lord has not forsaken you." I'm gonna be myself here. I don't have to hide. I am a very emotional person. Those who knows me, I am that one who cries in some commercial. I cry in every single movie that touch my heart, touch my soul. And was that part? There was many parts, but this part, every time I read, brings me to tears. Because he was aware that he needs protection, help, forgiveness. And I also finished this with something that happened to me in my life or my family, and I see like a puzzle, because We all do mistakes. We all feel sometimes that we are not worth it. Right now, and that I'm recording this to you, I am in a very tough moment of my life internally, and I do a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, when I sit here in this chair and record this, as long as I am alive, and even when I'm not, because more I study, I know that this body is just a shelf, like a turtle. It's just a shelf, and my conscience will be somewhere after my body dies, as long as I have awareness. This is what I ask. Awareness. Awareness, and I also, it's so hard sometimes, or many times, when I read this part, what brings to my heart is we always have a chance. We always will have a chance, alive or not. Every day is a battle, internally or outside. Our worst enemy is ourselves. It's here. What we are saying to ourselves, and also the energy of guilt. The guilt. We need to learn. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to, okay, I did a mistake. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have react the way I react. But I still have another chance. And next time, I will do different. Next time, I will do better. So he asked for help. And his help was listen. Who are you? Kind of envoy of God? My name is Clarence, and I'm nothing more than your brother. In noticing my exhaustion, he added, remain calm and quiet for now. You must rest to regain your strength. Then he says, Clarencio called two people, two beings, and then carrying him to a place. Clarencio just said, let's go. I have a lot of to do in Nosular. So this is how the chapter second finish. Basically, the two first chapter was him in this place, in this unknown place that we're gonna know what is that place towards the book. But then he's going somewhere. He got the help that he asked. Looking forward to being here with you guys for the next chapter. We talk soon. Have a great day. Bye.